I'm just a working mom doing her own dip powder nails. I'm not a trained professional. My hope is to inspire you by sharing my own creations. Enjoy! I'm going to take you through my manicure process beginning to end. I start by scuffing up the top coat to remove the shine. This helps to minimize the soak-off time. I'd rather spend some time doing this than spending more time submerged in acetone later. I'm using a Dremel with a coarse grit sanding tip. This is just a quick comparison before I did my other hand. I've got my low-tech soak-off setup here. I did have to set up inside today instead of the sunroom because it is freezing outside. I'm in a large, well-ventilated room. Gonna get that acetone soak-off started. Here's my big bowl of very warm water, my 2 freezer quart bags with a sturdy paper towel in each one, and of course that 100% acetone. Here we go. I spent 11 minutes rubbing my nails on those acetone-soaked paper towels with the bags submerged in the warm water. That did the trick. Let's move on. It's very important to prep the nails before applying dip powder. A well-prepped nail will minimize the chances of lifting and cracking. I'm using a medium grit file to smooth the edges after I've trimmed my nails. I like the square tip personally. Obviously, the shape of the nail tip is based on preference. Next, to prepare my nails, I am pushing back my cuticles to expose the fresh new nail surface. More area for dip powder application as the nail grows. Now I'm using a fine grit sanding block to gently buff off the natural nail shine, concentrating mainly on the new nail surface at the cuticle edge and then only lightly on the remaining nail. This is a very important step to create a good bonding surface for the dip powder. Just dusting off those freshly buffed nails. After this, I scrub my nails clean using a nail brush and a soap that doesn't have moisturizers in it. Then dry them, then finally wipe them off with acetone to remove any excess oils. Showing up with clean nails to start dip powder application. I've got build powder and liquid base coat here. I'm going to begin with 2 small coats of this build powder. This really isn't a necessary step, and you can certainly skip it as a modification to how I'm doing it here. That will save some time, but I do like the additional strength and shaping it provides to the final outcome. I do a skinny strip down the center of the nail, not going all the way to the cuticle. After applying that liquid base coat, the nail is gently dipped in the powder and the excess powder is kind of tapped off. And once that has about a minute to set, the nails are brushed off. For that second coat of build powder, I apply to only about half the length of the nail in a strip wider than the first, but not all the way to the side edges. So my plan for this holiday manicure is to apply white to the thumb, pointer, and pinky. So I have my white dip powder and liquid base coat ready to go. I like my dip nails thick and strong, so I generally apply 3 coats of color. Certainly another time-saving modification would be to only do 2 coats. To avoid too much thickness at the cuticle edge, I apply the first coat to only about 2/3 the length of the nail, all the way to the side edges this time. You do need to kind of control the amount of liquid base coat you're applying. You don't want it pooling at the edges. So I'm kind of controlling the amount that's on the brush, and I start in the middle of the nail and make my way outward in an effort to avoid that. Starting on my second coat of white, I'm going to apply this closer to the cuticle, but not all the way yet. Another method to control the amount of liquid base coat being applied is to apply over the previous dip before moving to the exposed nail once there's less liquid on the brush. Again, to avoid pooling and unsightly lumps that will add to corrective filing time later. I'm going to go ahead and apply the third coat of white. The base coat's going to be applied to the entire nail this time, all the way to the cuticle. And I'm sure you've noticed that I haven't applied color to my middle and ring finger yet. I wanted to do all the white first to help avoid getting smudges of other colors on the pure white. Now that I've applied my white dip powder coats, I'm going to harden them by applying an activator. Now I have the liquid base coat again, as well as green and red dip powder. The plan is to apply green to the middle and red to the ring finger. That first coat, just doing 2/3 the length of the nail again. So applying as I did with the white, using green and red this time. And now for a second coat of that green and red. coat 3 of green and red. I'm going to apply that to the entire nail this time. I'm going to apply activator to just my green nails now. I've already activated my white nails, and I still have plans for the red one before activating that. I am going to go ahead and do some gentle corrections just to kind of keep the shape under control for that red nail before I add more to it. I am going to create a red glitter dip by blending clear dip powder with some various loose red glitters. I've chosen a fine red glitter and a mixed to chunky red glitter. You could also use a pre-blended red glitter dip. I just don't have any right now. Shaking out that tray a bit just to flatten out the dip, as well as bring some of the chunkier glitter to the surface. I'm going to apply a liquid base coat to the entire ring finger nail, and then once I do that, I'm going to press it into the tray rather than dipping. I do find the glitter applies nicer that way. And I spend a little time using tweezers to remove pieces that didn't stick all the way or are kind of out of place. Once I have that glitter where I want it, I am going to add 2 coats of clear dip powder over top of it to both encapsulate and protect the glitter from filing. The first coat covering about 3/4 the length of the nail, and the second coat over the entire nail in a continued effort to minimize dip thickness at that cuticle edge. Let's go ahead and get that second coat done. And now I'm going to go ahead and activate that red nail. I'm going to do so generously as it has to get through multiple dip layers. I'm going to turn my attention back to my green and white nails. My plan is to apply self-adhesive stickers to decorate them, so they need a smooth surface. I'm going to take a little time to correct the shape a bit using a file and to smooth over the surface using a fine grit sanding block. And I did my white nails before the green nails to avoid green color contamination on them. After smoothing the nails, I am going to apply a coat of the liquid base coat to the nails that are getting stickers and allowing that to dry without dipping them in powder. I like to give that about 20 minutes or until dry to the touch. Time to decorate with stickers. Using tweezers, I am going to apply some cute holly stickers to my white nails and white snowflakes with a couple snowdrops on the green nails. I'm pressing them on using the rubber cover that came with my tweezers so that they are adhered completely and to avoid getting a bunch of finger oils on them. Now that I have my stickers on, I will also apply 2 coats of clear dip powder to encapsulate and protect them. So I have my liquid base coat and clear dip powder out again and ready for action. Here is that second coat of clear dip powder, which is going to be applied over the entire nail this time. And I do have to go ahead and activate that clear dip powder I just applied in order to harden it completely. I am all done dipping at this point, and I let that activator sit for at least 10 minutes. Now I'm going to start shaping the nail using a coarse grit file to straighten the side edges, smooth out the nail tip edge, and file all over the nail to create an appropriately rounded nail shape. Now I'm going to smooth over the coarse filing using that fine grit sanding block. And to achieve the glossiest nails possible, I will soft buff the nails as well. Before applying the final top coat, you've got to put on a little more activator to help fast cure the top coat, but wait at least a few minutes after putting the activator on. I did wipe the nails off using a clean cotton wipe or preferably a lint-free option. Now the first coat of liquid top coat needs to be applied in just a few quick strokes to minimize the chance of brush hardening. Have a brush saver bottle nearby for a clean brush if needed. I can now spend a little more time getting a nice second coat of top coat applied for a nice glossy finish. Here they are, those fun Christmassy nails. They make me so happy. Holly and snowflakes and glitter. Thanks for checking out my holiday nail design with me. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment with any questions or feedback.